stock today. You might remember 3 years ago when randomly it appeared, it shot through the roof. That was all thanks to someone known as Keith Gill. On YouTube, he is known as Roaring Kitty. He was actually set to make another big move with GameStop today, possibly becoming a billionaire in the process. Those plans did change when the company released first quarter earnings early today, while also announcing a share sale plan. Those earnings announced unexpectedly, we will note. Joining us now, Laura Finney. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. I know you're a financial expert to help us break this down. For those who don't follow Wall Street and have followed this saga, how would you describe this most recent chapter of GameStop stock?
Thank you for having me, Chris. I would describe this in my personal words, a little bit of mayhem. It's a couple of things that drive the market, and that's fear and greed. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens, I'm going to say, with GameStop within the next hour or two. If I had to give a full description of it, it's who is Keith Gill, and how does GameStop allow something like this to determine those of us who want to buy shares or, play in the market or gamble a little bit? How do we really protect ourselves from the nightmares when you have an influencer, if you will, who can totally take everything we've earned and take it for their gain?
And once again, turning to those who maybe haven't followed this story, how is it that one person posting on social media can cause a publicly traded company's stock to go up so much?
That's a really good question. I really wish I had the answer to that, but you nailed it. That the question in itself is, and I don't know who could answer this question unless it's someone within their corporate headquarters, as to how one individual had that much influence to allow that to happen. I mean, he can go on for, I think it was 50 minutes or so in his last live air. I call it episode, and now we have the trading has been halted, if you will. So for those of us who wanted to get in or get out, there's nothing we can do about it, but we have this one individual, one person, one human on YouTube that totally flipped the market upside down in a matter of hours.
It's incredible. I'm looking at the New York Stock Exchange website right now. It looks like trading has resumed, but it's been started and stopped multiple times today. Keith Gill went on YouTube and hosted a live around the noon hour East Coast time, and that's really when when the stock market stopped allowing people to buy and sell GameStop shares. Why is it that the market would actually pause a stock's stock from being a company's stock from being traded?
Well, at that point, I would personally think, I don't know, I'm not the guy behind the little button that turned it on and turned it off. But if I had to take a wild guess at this, it's to protect those of us who have invested or those of us who want to invest, to make sure that, number one, it's compliant, and number two, that we're following all the rules in between. And again, when you have an individual that makes a claim, puts it live, shows their quote unquote their gains, right, his account, and then the market starts to change and the influxes, they have to do something to protect those of us who are going about this the way that we should go, except for on someone's word.
Because GameStop, for those who don't know, is a brick and mortar video game store, and many times you can now just download the game. So it's kind of this, I think of Blockbuster, honestly, when it comes to movies, and yet they've been in the news so much. They've seen their stock price on some days go up by a big amount. Right now I'm seeing it's down about 41% on the day, so not great. What do we know about whether GameStop would actually want all of this to happen?
Oh.
And maybe we can't go inside. Sure. Just theoretically, or I guess in general, would a company, even one that has struggled as GameStop has, would want this type of situation playing out?
Well, it gives them a little bit more time to be in business, if you will. When you look at the video game market as a whole, it's all online now. There are very few brick and mortars that actually exist for those who want to play with the handheld games. But even those now, if I had to take a guess, just based on some of the people I'm around who are into games, 80% of these things are online. They don't need a brick and mortar to download or play any game anymore. So the fact that you have a company who is a brick and mortar and is based on customers coming in and out and purchasing these games, if you will, it's mind-baffling to me that it can have this sort of effect on our market.
Yeah, and I saw earlier this week, because Keith Gill apparently trades on E-Trade, uses that platform, that they have considered kicking him off of the platform because of all of this. Last question, is this legal?
I don't know.
I think that's like the big question, right? Yeah.
We're about to find out, right, Chris? Because if they start and stop it, in my opinion, it means that they're looking for something. They want to make sure that this is legal, that what he's doing is allowed, you know, through the stock exchange and affect millions of accounts out there. So that would be my guess, and that'll, I guess, tell us the true story within the next 24 to 48 hours is what he did considered legal or illegal. I guess we'll have to stand by and see.
Yeah, I'm sure it's stressful for people who have money on the line. For those who don't, it is just a very compelling story to watch. So Laura Finney, thank you for taking the time to be with us.
You're welcome. Thank you, Chris.
All right, let's go back on the scene now.